Hey, this is Josh Snyder with Thoughtful Discussions, and I'm here with,
This your man Arie Cole, and I'm a local DJ here in Pittsburgh.
yeah, what's good, man? How's everything going?
It's going great, man.
Yeah?
Working hard, hardly working, all that.
We just came off a week doing some shows at Spirit, right? We
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
And tell me a little bit about that. How'd that go?
Spirit was a lot of fun. Spirit
Yeah.
was basically because I got to do Tall Tees.
Yep.
That's RB's party, RB and Peanut Butter. It's 2000s music,
Yep.
2000s rap, which is literally my era. Like I
Yeah,
started the
yeah.
2000s in like sixth, seventh grade,
Right.
and I ended the 2000s in college. So like that's the formative years.
Yes.
And so I went from like all those rappers in that era is like that's my stuff. So I could I could play hours of that
Nice.
if I needed to.
Yeah, heck yeah. So tell me a little bit about how you started and when you started and kind of where you're at right now.
Yeah. So I started off. It's my start is kind of a weird story.
Let's hear it.
Well, I needed some extra money,
Yep.
and I was at the time I was working coffee shops, and I was still trying to make it as a graphic designer.
Okay.
So I went to school. I went to Edinburgh for graphic design and animation. I
Gotcha.
knew animation wasn't gonna work,
Yeah.
so I pick up graphic design, and I graduate, and I have this portfolio. I'm applying for jobs, trying to get freelance work.
Yep.
The jobs aren't calling. The freelance work is trying to undercut me, because I'm working with a lot of like young entrepreneurs, which is dope because I love them. But at the same time, I needed to get paid what I was worth,
Of
and
course.
it just wasn't happening. So I thought to myself, like, what can I do? And I go to this place and I see this DJ, and they're okay, but they're not that good. And I think to myself, like, yo, I could do that.
Yeah.
Like, and at the very least, if I'm whack, like, no one's booing this mediocre person off stage. So like,
Right.
I thought to myself, like, let's try to do it. Let's get started.
Yes.
So the first thing I did was I went on YouTube. I
Yeah.
went on YouTube and looked up tutorials. Like just try to investigate and see like what do you have to do to get started?
Yep.
What do you need to know? And the first thing that the tutorial said or the person said was just know music. Like
Yeah.
study your music.
Right.
And I have been doing that for years already.
You're way ahead of the game.
Already, yeah. So I didn't know that I was doing the first step like through college and stuff. Um, like even through college, you know how if you have a Mac, you
Yeah.
can set your like iTunes to like share mode.
Yeah.
So like people, if you're on Wi-Fi and someone's close by, like they could listen to your library if they wanted to.
Right. Right.
So like people used to always listen to my library and be like, yo, like you got everything, man. Like yo, like we're like how you. And so just from that, like the studying music, I've always talked with my brother,
Yeah.
Red Vision,
Yeah.
Randall Coleman about music. We have
Right.
we've had deep discussions about Kanye West and Mos Def and Jay Z
Yep.
for like years, and so getting that first step down to studying music was the easy part.
Mm.
The next part was finding out if this was something I really wanted to do
Yep.
because DJing is a commitment, and that was the second thing that the person said. They were like,
Yeah.
they were like, don't do it for money.
Right.
And I was like, well, I kind of want to do it for money. They're like, don't do it for money. Do it because you like music. Do
Yes.
it because you want to invest in the craft.
Yep.
And do it because it's just something you want to do. So like I really had to think about like, do I really want to do this? Um, if I invest in equipment, is this
Yeah.
gonna be something that I do for like a couple months and like let go of?
Yep.
You know, and it ended up not being that. I spent like a tax return.
Yeah.
I had like $200 or $300 tax return. And I bought a little small controller with it,
Yep.
and that's kind of how I got started. Um, I went and got gigs with that. I used my gigs to get like sound equipment and
Mhm.
upgrade. And eventually I got a bigger controller that was more like a turntable set. And then after I got more gigs with that, I upgraded the turntables.
Yeah.
So now I'm here trying to get better and trying to keep working. So
Doesn't stop.
that never stops.
So what you're saying is very applicable for just about any type of entrepreneurship.
Mhm.
Like the way you start out and the way that you want to make sure you're committed, the way you work with, something small, work bigger, work bigger, work bigger. The first printer for this business I have right now, I bought for 150 bucks on Craigslist,
Yeah, it's
and it
real.
was like I ran it into the ground in 6 months. It was just this little
Yeah.
like office desktop laser printer, and it worked. It was super slow, but it
Mhm.
worked. It worked for what I needed, and I just hustled it and made it happen, and then turned that around, bought a bigger one,
Yeah.
bought another bigger one, and kind of go from there. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's good. That's good advice though too for people that are just starting out. You want to make sure that you're going to commit to it. You want to stick with it, and um, it's solid.
Yeah,
Solid. I love that.
and it's not even like, I feel like I just needed to get a return on the investment. So if I would have spent that $200
Yeah.
and just been a every once in a while take up a gig sort of DJ, I feel like I would have gotten a return, but I wanted more.
Yeah.
And so now I really have to work on the return because I just spent like almost what 30 or 3,000, 3,200
Yeah.
on new turntable equipment and
Gotcha.
stuff. So yeah,
So what inspired that? What made you want to switch to buy turntables?
I started seeing more serious DJs.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really big on homework.
Yep.
And so like I mentioned graphic design and stuff earlier. So
Yep.
when I was in school for animation and graphic design, those professors really instilled in me doing the research,
Yep.
knowing who came before you, um, and seeing what has worked for people and seeing what hasn't.
Right.
And I would sit back. In doing research, you go to a lot of gigs. I go to a lot of people's shows, whether they
Mhm.
use controllers, whether they use some sort of pads, or they use turntables or CDJs. I try to learn from them.
Mhm.
I got Shazam
Yeah.
working overtime, trying to get some new music.
Nice.
But yeah, and so I started seeing like uh, I would go to a lot of DJ Selector sets.
Yep.
And I went to a lot of DJ Adam C sets.
Mhm.
And we also hooked up on a couple parties very, very early in my
Yeah.
DJ career while I was still working with that initial
Yeah.
really cheap controller.
Right.
We had done it's me, Neil, and I gotta do more on Neil, aka Norman Drip. But me, Neil, DJ Adam C,
Yep.
we hooked up on It's Lit, which was
Mhm.
a party where it was just the three of us. He
Yeah.
looked up and was like, "Yo, Slappers and Bangers is dope.
Yeah.
I want to throw a party with you guys."
And that was something you decided to do on your own.
Slappers and Bangers.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. And there's a story behind that too. Like,
Okay.
there's yeah.
We'll get
there-
there.
Okay, but yeah. So, but being invited to do something with someone who was working with turntables already,
Yeah.
who was already at a certain level,
Mm.
he was just like, "You guys know how to throw a party. Let's throw a party together."
Yes.
So we did It's Lit. It's Lit lasted 3 parties.
Okay.
And they were good. But it kind of needed to end. There was definitely a skill difference,
Mhm.
definitely a style difference.
Mhm.
So it wasn't as cohesive of a theme,
Mhm.
but I learned like so much from doing
Did
it.
you learn
with
how
him.
to blend? Like you could play. Do you feel like you could play with different people now and shift from one person to the next a little bit smoother?
Yeah.
From
Well,
that, like,
we always had that. I
yeah.
think the difference was like I was still doing slappers and bangers sort of stuff for most
Mm.
of the sets that I did.
Got it.
And Adam, like, he grew up listening to more rock, emo, and then he DJ'd, like, he did Get Weird, which he did a lot more like electronic music and things like that.
Mhm.
So you would get like Future, Drake, maybe Ice Cube if I felt like it,
Yeah.
and then you would go to something more like electric and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And so it wasn't. I think what failed about it was it wasn't as cohesive
Right.
as a theme. And then the fact that we did 30-minute sets each,
Yeah.
so like we would rotate, and so I would be on like 2 more times in that
Right.
night. I think it had you done like a festival format where like somebody does an hour and a half set and
Yeah.
they're done,
Yeah.
and like you're done hearing that sound for that day. I think that would have worked a little bit better with it.
Gotcha.
But also, it's not every party is like made to last
Yeah.
forever or for however long.
Yeah.
It's Lit served a great purpose. It taught us a lot. It got us into charging for parties.
Yeah.
Because Slappers and Bangers originally we didn't charge people to
Really?
get in.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a different deal that we would do with
Yeah.
it. Um, and actually, can I talk about Slappers and
Yeah.
Bangers?
Yeah. Go for it.
All right.
Real
That's
quick before you get into that, I did have a question.
yeah.
Like when you first started, were you guys doing like house parties and stuff like that, or like how did you get into the mode where you're like I want to throw parties and do this
I went straight to the bar.
just straight to the
I
bar?
was
You're
so
like,
I spent time. I spent like 6 months to a year
yeah.
just practicing in my room,
Yep.
and like Cam, shout out Morphone, Cam Brown, he would come to my room and he would like listen to me playing stuff
Yep.
and like, you know, he wouldn't really critique, but we would just be sitting there jamming and it wasn't really formal or anything.
Yeah.
And then when I felt like I was ready, I went to Remedy
Okay.
and I asked them for a night.
Yeah.
Remedy, that back then Sarah was still there.
Okay.
Um, and she was like, okay, like yeah, you can get a night. And I was like, okay, well, how much do you guys pay? She was like, we don't. But the key to it was like, you got a certain percentage of the door or whatever. Like
Okay.
if you could bring a crowd,
Yeah.
and so I did. They gave me second Thursday, and so what I called that party the weekend warm up,
Okay.
and so I barely got anybody in the door, but it was good to practice playing for 4 hours straight.
Yeah.
And so especially being a newer DJ, so like when I did parties with Adam,
Mhm.
I mean parties with Neil,
Mhm.
it was just a 2 hour set. So
Okay.
I just got done playing 4 hour sets by myself. A 2 hour set is nothing. I can feel that easy, you know. Or even with like It's Lit, which was hour and a half sets,
Mhm.
hour set if you had the short set that night.
Yeah.
So it was just really easy. So I started off at Remedy, and
Nice.
then um, Neil, who I worked at Crazy Mocha with,
Mhm.
he hits me up. He's like, "Yo, like I know you started DJing. Like me and my friend, we want to bring in Father. Father's a rapper. He got that song Wrist.
Okay.
Uh, want to bring him in. Like maybe you could open for him." That kind of fell through. He didn't come. Um, and then he's like, "All right, man. Like that didn't work, but I kind of want to just throw a party. Like I know you DJ.
Yeah.
Like maybe I could DJ too. I'll throw some songs on."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "All right, like cool. Like let's do this." And we didn't know what we wanted to name it, but I guess he had the nickname like Slaps or something.
Okay.
And so he was like, "How about we just call it Slappers and Bangers?" And I'm like, what is that?" And he was like, "I don't know. It just sounds cool." So I was like, "All right, that's how we're gonna do it, Slappers and Bangers." So we did Slappers and Bangers. His friend, I think his friend's name's Pete. He did the flyer,
Yeah.
and he took Mount Rushmore and put Drake, Future, Rihanna, and Beyonce
Okay.
on the cover. I think it was,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so like the Mount Rushmore replaced the faces, put it purple because Dirty Sprite 2 was just released, so like purple was that was the groove, and put it out. It was free, but we got money based on like however Spirit did it at the time.
Yeah.
So it started off as Spirit also.
Okay. Okay.
Um, and it was a hit. Also, the good part was we were downstairs, so Mac Miller was there that night.
Okay.
So that was the night of
You got the overflow.
yeah, we got the overflow.
Nice.
But here's the thing about it: it was the night. Remember when Mac Miller released that album Good AM or Good?
Mhm.
Yeah, uh, he did Stage AE, I believe, that
Yeah.
weekend.
Yes.
But
I
what a
remember
lot of
that.
people don't know is he did. Well, a lot of people do know it, but a lot of people don't.
Right.
He did that party at Spirit the night before,
Okay.
where he was just like upstairs, like playing music and stuff, and blah blah blah. Blah.
Right.
Well, when people were waiting for him to go on, they were downstairs partying with us. When they were, just wanted to move, because no one stays in one place for too long. They go
Mhm.
outside to smoke, they do whatever.
Mhm.
We were getting people like rotating in and out, and so we had the place packed.
Nice.
Us and Mac Miller
Right.
had the place packed, but it was a very good start. And then the second time we did Slappers and Bangers, Mobb Deep was upstairs.
Oh.
So we
Yeah.
we like
Made
lucked
out,
out both
yeah.
times, yeah. But it was just a dope beginning, and that was in like 2015. 2015 we only did 2 Slappers and Bangers parties,
Yeah.
and they both like worked,
Gotcha.
and so we decided to keep it going.
Nice.
Yeah, it was
Nice.
a dope thing.
Heck yeah. For anyone that went to either those first two Slappers and Bangers or the It's Lit tell us what you thought of that, remembering back. If going from what he's saying to what you remember, if leave a comment and let us know what your thoughts are. We'd love to read
If
that.
it's positive.
Either way, no, either way.
Yeah, no, yeah.
It's I mean, that was so long ago. You can't.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
can't
of
take
course
it,
not,
like,
man. My first gig, my first Remedy gig, I stunk so bad. Like, oh my gosh, it was my first time hearing myself on booming speakers
Right.
as opposed to being in my room. So yeah, of course.
I got you. I got you. I look at things that I printed when I was first starting out, and I was like, oh man, I can't believe I did that, and I
Man,
gave it to him.
it's wild. It's
But
wild.
no, it works out.
Hmm.
You know, you do what you do. You grow. You progress.
Yeah,
Get
you
better.
strive.
So what are you doing now, and how's that going?
Yeah. So right now, I I still have my full time job.
Yep.
At the bank. Um, but in terms of DJing, I just work really hard at booking more shows. So
Yep.
since being more inconsistent in 2015 with Slappers and Bangers,
Mm-hmm.
in 2016, Brillo Box brought us on. So
Okay.
we're now monthly.
Right.
So Slappers and Bangers is monthly at Brillo Box, and it's also $5 to get in now. So we came up a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
then I also do a party called Yas Queen,
Yes.
which is all women all night. That's the premise.
Yep.
I started to notice that I could do a set of all men
Mm-hmm.
and like all trap or whatever. Even when I play like dance music, it'd be like MNEK or something, or like just dudes all night. And I
Yeah.
started to realize that like maybe I could flip this on its head, or like when I
Mm.
would play that Beyonce song or the Rihanna song, people went crazy because people want to be represented.
Right.
And so I thought to myself, what if I like flipped it on its head and I just played like all women for a set with like limited male vocals,
Right.
and it just worked as a party. And so I do
Nice.
that with DJ Aaron O and DJ Syph,
Mm-hmm.
who don't DJ as often, but like they do that party and kill it.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's just fun to do. So I do Yas Queen, Slappers and Bangers. I DJ weddings.
Mm-hmm.
So I just got done with a wedding
Okay.
last weekend, and I have another one in 2 weeks coming up. So it will have been like 5 weddings this year, and I've been signing those like independently. So um, through word of mouth and business cards.
Right.
I'm also at Umami every Friday.
Nice.
Shout out to IJ. She was the one. She was a great
She's
local
awesome.
DJ. Awesome.
Yes.
Whenever she couldn't do it, she would hit me up
Okay.
to fill in.
Yep.
And then when she decided to move,
Mm-hmm.
they asked me to do it, and so I've been doing every Friday ever since. I mean, obviously I've taken off a couple Fridays,
Yeah.
but I love it there. It's
Yeah.
so fun because I play a little bit of everything, from
It's good. It's kind of in the background, but it's enough that people can. They're having a good time because it's the setting.
yeah.
And I mean, I've been there a couple times while you've been playing, so it's definitely
Thank
a
you.
good night.
Yeah, I mean, it's a night where I can go from like Mac Miller to like George Benson,
Mm-hmm.
and no one cares. Like
No.
they care because they enjoy it, but
Yeah.
like it's not like a thing. Like Slappers and Bangers got to stick to the script,
Right.
But
Right.
there, it's a little bit more open.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
If you could play with anyone within reason right now, who would that be?
You mean okay? So is this locally or nationally?
Let's go with local.
Okay, locally, if I could play with anyone, it would be of the people I have not played with.
Yeah.
It would be Selecta. So
Okay.
I was supposed to do there was supposed to be a party once, and I was gonna like open, and Pav was there, Swap Pav,
Mm-hmm.
and Selecta was supposed to do it, but the attendance wasn't there,
Mm.
and so Selecta, or they basically they were just like, all right, we'll just like cut it off.
Right.
But I would love to play a party with Selecta because he he's such a dope DJ,
Absolutely.
and like he does his Groove Theory,
Mm-hmm.
the radio show,
Yes.
and
What channel is that on?
WYEP, I
Yeah.
believe. He posts on SoundCloud, so I
Okay.
follow on there.
We'll put a link in the comments.
Yeah, so there's that, and then he does the group theory at Goldmart too.
Mm-hmm.
And so to be able to play a party with him, or also my man Jawan, who is connected with Hot Mass.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
I love house music.
Yeah.
I don't have a library big enough to do anything at Hot Mass, or a library of house music enough. But I love house, and I love what they play. House,
Yeah.
disco, techno.
Yeah.
Like the sound is just crazy to me.
Yeah.
And when you look at like the history of house music and stuff like that, um, to me it's just the genre is just crazy. So I listen to it a lot, and I do play some of it. And
Mhm.
my house library is growing, but to do a party with either of them would be
Yeah.
crazy.
What do you feel about like the climate of the industry right now, like here in Pittsburgh? And have you traveled at all?
Travel DJing, no,
Okay.
but when I went to London,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
um,
That's right. I remember
yeah,
seeing
I
pictures.
saw. I One thing that I always try to do when I travel is bring back some music.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I went to London, I went to a lot of record stores just to see like what garage, like UK garage they had and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. And I went out a couple times and heard the DJs and what they were doing. And what I realized was, um, well, one, there's a lot of like really good DJs, but I
Mm-hmm.
also realized that like my skills, um, they're transferable.
Mm-hmm.
And so going to other cities and listening to other DJs,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of helped me realize like, okay, I could go somewhere else and DJ. Not And that's not even like being cocky or something, but
No.
it's really just being honest with myself and like trying to see where I stand versus some of the other acts that are playing in other
Right.
places. Um, the main thing that I brought back, people in London love like 2000s
Mm.
music. I heard a lot of 2000s hip hop and R&B,
Okay.
but woven in between that, this is like listening to the radio out there. Woven in between that was a lot of like UK garage and house music too.
Mm.
And so the variation on the radio alone was just it was crazy. It was so different for me
Mm-hmm.
because we don't really have that here on the radio.
No.
We have a lot of channels that play like pop, which is no shade to pop, but like that's just what we have here.
Right.
Like we don't have that same variation. And so going somewhere else and hearing that was just crazy. So
Hmm.
yeah.
And what do you? How's the scene here? How has it been? Like welcoming or
I was
like
very welcoming.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean for me, so I celebrated my 2-year anniversary of DJing
Yeah.
uh in August. And to come up from having only two gigs in 2015 to a couple more,
Mm-hmm.
and then just being where I am now. Like I came into 2017, the only thing I had in 2017 that I knew I was gonna have was Slappers and Bangers monthly, Yas Queen,
Yeah.
3 to 4 times a year. Other than that, I didn't have any weddings booked yet.
Okay.
I didn't have Umami yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's been little stuff that people booked me for like a month before. I
Gotcha.
didn't know those were coming either.
Right.
Um,
What other events have you done?
I did Corey, aka Grits Capone.
Mm-hmm.
He had an art opening in the South Side, and so
Yeah.
I did his opening. It was called Electric Kool Aid.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a very fun event to do.
Nice.
And I love art galleries.
Right.
Um, I've done some work with Terry Boyd. I DJ while he has played video. He
Okay.
does a little bit of VJing.
Yep.
His VJ name is Vox. Um, I did. I'm doing a Halloween party with
Oh,
DJ Adam C
nice.
coming up. And then who else? I've done some other work. It kind of began. Oh, I've done some nonprofit work too. And so I worked with Lawrenceville United
Yep.
on their big fundraiser. A Plus Schools, they had their big fundraiser at the August Wilson Center, so I was
Okay.
able to play there,
Yeah.
which is huge because I love the August Wilson Center,
Yeah.
and so it's such a dope place.
Heck
With
yeah.
the art, the cultural events. I saw Selecta play at the cultural center before. There's just been I've seen Pete Butter there too.
Mm-hmm.
There's just been so many just cool events, but to be able to be a part of those,
Yeah.
especially being so young in it, is very cool. And in that way, it's welcoming.
Right. How old are you?
I'm 30. I just turned 30.
Yeah.
which is scary. I wish I would have gotten into it earlier,
Yeah.
into DJing earlier.
Speaking of which, what would you tell yourself, like, um, any advice you'd give yourself either when you were first starting out or when you were younger? Like,
Yeah, take imperfect action. That'd be like the main, take imperfect
move
action.
forward, even if it's not
Yeah,
perfect.
because I'm such a perfectionist
Yeah.
that there were times when I used my perfectionist nature
Mm-hmm.
as an excuse to not move forward in
Yep.
something.
Yep.
And if I really dove into those feelings,
Mm-hmm.
I realized that I was just nervous.
Right.
And so, yeah, take imperfect
Yeah.
action. Just
Yeah.
do it, and because you can improve later. Every set that I do, every set that I do. Well, here's I did an interview when I was trying to do graphic design still
Yeah.
with the Pittsburgh Penguins,
Okay.
and I remember the first thing, one of the things that they said was, we expect, obviously every day you're not going to do your best work,
Right.
but we expect your graphic design work to be on a scale of good, better, best.
Right.
And so I feel like every set that I've done in the
Mm.
past year has been at least able to be rated on a good, better, best scale. I haven't really had like a bad set
Right.
in about a year. Not yet, right? Oh man, I get on this weekend and just like fall apart.
Nah, you're good. You'll
But
be all
yeah,
right.
but like it's and so but just rate it as that
Yeah.
experiment while I'm playing. I have like a couple little formulas in my head for like the way songs can work
Mm-hmm.
together, and then sometimes I try out things like live, and so that formula allows me to just take two songs that I wouldn't have thought of when I was at home practicing.
Right.
You know, sometimes I'll look at somebody and be like, maybe he'll like this song, and then it just matches with the song that I was playing then. So like,
Yeah.
great example,
Nice.
Sade, No Ordinary Love
Mm-hmm.
mixes very well with Playboy Cardi, Magnolia, and I discovered that on the fly. Like I didn't know that they were gonna work,
Yeah.
but it does. Same with
And then you just remember that, or you write that down later? Or what do you do? What do you do?
the really good mixes I just remember.
Yeah.
But there's been some that I
Is it
did.
because like you get a feeling like you're working with the crowd, right? That makes
Yeah, yeah.
so like there's a lot of people that I talk to, and I'm like, yeah, like I'm 30.
Mhm.
I never went to like clubs or DJs or anything, probably up until like 2 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And now I go all the time, and it's kind of funny because it's like it's not I don't f- I feel accepted, and it's a
Yeah.
super fun thing to do, but I don't feel like it's definitely not the scene like I grew up in. And so like when I tell people like, oh yeah, I'm going to this show,
Mhm.
and they're like, oh, who's playing? I'm like, oh, my buddy's DJing, and they're like, okay, I guess we'll go do that. Like I pull people
Yeah.
from out of that crowd, maybe the people that don't go. But what's the difference? Like there's performers, obviously, rock bands,
Mhm.
regular bands, whatever. They definitely work with the crowd, but when you're DJing, there's that same connection.
Yeah.
So
It's
how does that like describe that to me?
it's exhilarating.
Yeah,
So I feel that the most during like a Slappers and Bangers set. So
yeah,
like um so I have a song that'll be playing, people are grooving,
mhm,
people are dancing already, and I think to myself, okay, maybe this song will work. I'm gonna transition it, or like I might like sample it a little bit just to like give them a little taste.
mm.
And so I'll do that.
Now,
Start to
real
fade it
quick,
in.
this comes from like you have to know every song in your library. Like you have to know it,
Yeah,
know the
yeah,
beat, know every part of it.
yeah.
You have to like
So a lot of so about 75% of my library, like I know when things are coming up.
yeah,
Some of the other stuff that like I might have just downloaded or
right,
like listened to once and I thought
right,
would be cool.
right.
Um, that's where like sampling in my headphones comes in.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, like I really study music in my library, and I have like I'd have to count out how many playlists I
Mhm.
have and how many playlists of mine have over 100 to 200 songs.
Yeah,
But like, yeah, you just like you study, like
yeah,
yeah. Um, but yeah, so like you bring it in a little bit. Like the first time I played Formation,
mhm,
oh my gosh, like is the reaction was just crazy, and you see people light up when they hear it. But sometimes if you sample it just a tad, there's only a couple people that know what's coming,
okay,
and then they
You ever
convey.
see people that come from the bar, like come out, and
Oh
like
yeah,
they're like, you're like,
that
oh
that's what
shoot, it's this is it,
that's what's
it's
been happening
coming.
with Cardi B.
Yeah,
And then before it was Cardi B, it was Bad and Bougie,
yeah,
and before that was Black Beetle, and before that was
yep,
like March Madness.
right,
So I'm fortunate enough to have like every couple of months there's
yeah,
like a song that's like the wave
yeah, yeah,
that like brings people back in.
right,
But also, if you're a good DJ, you design when people leave and come back.
right,
So like there's times when I'm like, all right, y'all been twerking for a while. I'll reward y'all with a slow song. So like I'll chill it out for a second. So those people, they go to the bar, which the bar, um, they benefit from this too,
of course,
because that's when they go get a drink.
right,
So you play that chill song, whatever. People are chilling. They go back to get a drink, and then you play that song. That
draws them
like
back.
that yeah, that song, and it draws them back, and they rage, and that like that's really like you
I
could okay.
I feel like that's what makes a good party too. Is with like you don't realize it's like as an attendee,
Yeah.
you don't maybe realize it's happening, but you go to a show and you're doing exactly that. Oh, you're dancing, it's fun, and then you're like, all right, it's slowing down. I'm gonna go grab a drink, and then something pulls you back, and you're like, you
Mhm.
remember the next day, you're like, dang, that was
Yeah.
fun
Yeah.
because like you remember that part of like
Yeah.
keep going out,
Yeah.
getting pulled in, like where if you go to a concert or a show and like you have that where you go back to the bar and then you never come back, like that's not one you want to go back to,
No,
right?
no,
Like so,
no. And that's the key, like
yeah,
knowing when to give people a chance to rest, and also just like knowing how to let people groove.
yeah,
Cause like there's a lot of songs out there that like people love
mhm,
that song, and if they're dancing,
mhm,
like you gotta. As the
let them have
DJ,
it.
yeah, as a DJ, I get antsy. So I'm like, it's time to mix the next song. It's time to
Right,
go. It's time to go.
right,
But if I look out and I see people grooving, I'm like, okay, maybe I can be a showman a little bit. I can dance with them a little bit, and
yeah,
vibe a little bit with them,
right,
and then like I'll let them have it for now,
yeah,
and then I'm gonna mix in that next
right,
song.
right,
But
right.
yeah,
I love it.
it's oh man, it's very exhilarating. Yeah.
So we just missed this, or if you're watching this and you haven't gone, you just missed the last Slappers and Bangers. That was this Saturday.
Yeah.
But coming up, they are what time of the month is it?
So it's usually the fourth Saturday of each month.
Okay.
The next one will be November 18th,
Hmm.
and that one is our Thankful for Kanye party.
Okay.
So it'll be Thanksgiving time. Tell us what you're thankful for. We are thankful for Kanye. So Slappers and Bangers presents Thankful for Kanye.
Awesome. And then
Yeah.
do you have another show at Cativo coming up? Yes, Queen.
Yes Queen is done for the year.
Okay.
We'll be back next year, rebranded and like ready to just play more jams from
Yeah.
phenomenal women.
Nice.
So
Nice. Looking forward to it. What do you think you'd like to see in the future, either from yourself or from the scene?
yeah, one is more DJs who are women, and
Hmm.
also more black women DJing. I think a lot of people felt this when IJ left.
Hmm.
There was a little bit of a void.
Hmm.
Suddenly, it felt more. There was too much testosterone in the room.
Yeah.
And because IJ gave us something that was dope. She was the only
Yeah.
one really playing like Jersey Club like
Right.
that. Like, there were a couple people, but she was really the only one like really putting on for that.
Right.
So now, but now we have DJ Femi,
Hmm. I was
who
just gonna
has
say her.
oh man, she's
Shout out.
she is so dope. And then she brings her crew.
Yeah.
She has a little hive. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's not joking. Her, Slim,
Yep.
like that whole crew is
Yep.
is dope. And I wish Femi and IJ were doing it at the same time. Not even to be like, oh, you guys should DJ the same party because you guys are women, but like just so that, let's say, uh, IJ is doing her remedy spot that
Mhm.
night, and then Femi is like, all right, we're doing a party at Brillo Box or something
Yeah.
like that. Now you have a choice. You're able to like bounce around and see like
Mhm.
more diversity in your DJs,
Right.
in your DJ.
And that goes for anything. I mean, I've heard you say like that's a goal. You want to be able to see multiple shows happening on the same night and all of them full.
Yeah,
Like that's part of the scene. You guys got to come out. Like you guys got to like
yeah,
see what's there, don't stick to just one show a night. You can
You
bounce
can
around
bounce.
from a couple
Yeah,
different.
five
See,
dollar $5 is a
oh,
very bounceable price.
absolutely.
Yeah, and so yeah, I want people to be able to bounce. But part of that is it falls on me and
Hmm.
my crew and what we do, and that's the advertising. So
Yep.
Red Vision, I mentioned him before.
Yep.
Um, Randall, he takes phenomenal pictures, and
Yes.
he locks the energy from Slappers and Bangers into a frame, and I don't know how he does it, but he locks that energy into a frame, and then
Yeah.
I'm able to post those pictures later,
Right.
and suddenly people are able to like take something with them. So
Right.
they had a dope party Saturday night.
Right.
Monday is when we usually post, and we're able to kind of prolong that
Hmm.
remembrance,
Hmm.
and then let people know we'll be back next month.
Right.
So yeah, part of that is people getting dope photography. I know DJ Adam C pays photographers
Hmm.
to
Chris
document
Brown.
his parties.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I think the next step, and RB does too, the next
Yep.
step in really promoting the scene
Hmm.
is documentation.
Hmm.
It's getting paying photographers and getting people out to your events
Yep.
because they matter. Art like us.
Yes.
Uh, um,
Xavier. He was on last week.
yeah. Okay. Dope. So yeah, y'all already heard from him, or will hear. Yeah. But yeah, that stuff is important, and it's very important to a scene.
Hmm.
And I forgot. I thought of this and then forgot about it when you were talking about how like you didn't really go out before and stuff like that,
Yeah.
or go to clubs. There's a different feel around here
Hmm.
than your normal club,
Hmm.
and so like the parties around here feel a little bit more underground.
Okay.
They feel a little
Absolutely.
bit like more like you're not gonna. They feel a little bit more like you're gonna dance around friends, even though you don't really know everybody in there. Like
Yeah.
it's still, like, it's very welcome.
And if you go to a few, like, and I mean like three, four, five shows, you'll end up seeing the same people.
Yeah,
You'll end up just hang out and chill. Like people are friendly. Like even in the crowd.
yeah.
It's
People
not.
are, yeah.
Yeah.
There's been nights even before I started DJing where like I would bump into someone, and then like that person becomes someone that buys a drink for me later,
Right.
or I buy, or whatever. Like it's just there's cool people.
Definitely.
And so that's what I like about this scene and what's going on. And even outside of like the hip hop and rap shows, like Strange Ways, I love Strange Ways. They did the
Yeah.
Cure versus the Smiths,
Okay.
and so I'm a low key like Smiths fan,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so I was, oh man, I was in there ready to cry. And so like I love them. Laser Crunk is
Yes.
probably my favorite
Shout out to
party.
Keeves.
Yeah, Keeves, what they do, like when I was early on, when I was still using my old controller,
Yeah.
the original, they had me on, and my set was, it was okay.
Yeah.
I tried to experiment with some music.
Okay.
It didn't go off the way I wanted, but Laser Crunk is a party that's been around here for like what, like 8 9 years,
Yes.
and they are expert level at
Yeah.
what they do. And then they bring in acts. Like they have the next one, they have an act coming in from the UK.
Yep. I just printed the flyers.
Yeah, you see, get get everybody in the scene.
Love it.
But yeah, I mean, it's just there's different genres that you can see. There's different things that you can see. It doesn't just have to be slaps and bangers, yes queen,
Yeah.
talties. It can be all that stuff
Right.
because there's so many just dope parties
Absolutely.
happening.
And you'll see other DJs there that aren't even playing.
Yeah,
Like a lot
that's the
at a lot
thing
of them.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. If
There's
if
good
you're
support.
familiar with who the DJs are, it just
Yeah.
starts to look like it's like, oh, he's there, he's there, he's there. Okay,
Yeah.
I recognize these people.
I mean, I saw Pav the other night after his own show.
Yeah,
Like he rolled through.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
everywhere after. Once
Yeah.
he's done, he's out there. Yeah.
It's
So
good.
I love it around here. So
So tell me about drummers versus DJs. What it is, the time that you played, and have you been to every single one of them since?
yes, I have.
Okay.
I have.
So tell me a little bit about it.
It's so what started off as a fun, wholesome family event has now turned into a death battle, culminating on what December 7th. I think
Yes.
the next one's December 7th, and I am coming for DJ Adam C and Dylan's neck on that one. But
who are you gonna be drumming with?
I think Ron Worthy.
Okay.
So it should be Ron Worthy. He was my partner for the first one that I did
Right.
back when it was a friendly show of drummers and DJs. But so originally it was just a show like they, JX4 did the first one, IJ did the first, Christo. Like
Yep.
you had DJs just come through with a drummer and they
Yes.
would do a show. There was no prize.
Okay.
I think the first one was like free to get in or something, like something
Okay.
crazy.
Put on by
Um,
Fresh Brand.
for Rush Brand, yeah, yeah. Which one? All right, for Rush Brand, one, y'all need to come out with a crew neck sweatshirt. That's the first thing. Cause I don't do hoodies, just crew necks.
Yep.
Also, y'all need to come out with a dad hat. Well, they do have dad hats.
Yeah.
My bad.
No, they
But
got it.
cause I have one of the snapbacks, the Pittsburgh snapbacks, but it
Yeah.
doesn't fit on my head.
Okay.
So it's just chilling
One
at
of
home.
these.
Yeah, I have one of those. So it's just
Yeah.
chilling at home. I need to get it like signed or something, so it has like a purpose, collecting dust in my house. But um, thrown on by them. But yeah, before it was just people doing a show,
Yeah.
and now it's a competition. So I believe there's the last two have been a competition, um, and DJ Adam C has won both of them
Hmm.
in my book quite handily.
Yes.
But I'm also a DJ Adam C fan.
Yeah. Me too.
So now he got me in the next one. So I've been feverishly practicing because I have like years. I have years of turntablism to make up for. Because I mean,
Yeah.
he's been banging with these turntables for like 4 years, like, and
Right.
it shows. So in a matter of months, I have like 4 years of turntablism to catch up on.
So real quick to fill people in. So I was a judge, not last one, the one before. So what's
Mhm.
the next one going to be? What number? Is it 8 or 9?
Something like that. Well,
Okay.
there was like 3 before he
It's
had
gonna
the
be
one.
8. So
Yeah.
I think it was
Okay.
6. So a couple DJs played, which I apologize, not gonna remember their names. Then Selecta played, and Selecta was fire. I gave him a 10. He was
Yeah.
making us, RB was making us text
Yeah.
after every set. We couldn't judge the whole thing. Gave
And
him a
that's smart.
10. It was, and then Adam C came on, and I was like, bump everything down, man. He got an 11. Like that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, Selecta is awesome, but he played a really stripped down set, and he only had he literally all he had was his turntables and his mixer, and he was just doing his thing, and it was on point.
He also didn't
Like-
do that. He also didn't do that set with his S9 yet,
Okay.
because he has the S9.
Yeah.
For those who don't know what the S9 is, that's the Pioneer S9
Mm-hmm.
model. It's a battle mixer,
Okay.
so it's like literally made for you to slap people in the face while DJing. But he had it. But he had
He-
it,
he
but
didn't
he
play with it
hadn't.
yet.
No, he didn't use that one at
But
the
it
time.
was it was amazing. I gave him a 10. Like it
Yeah, and he's
wasn't
still dope.
it
Yeah.
wasn't yes, it wasn't bad. Like I love the guy. Like
Mhm.
honestly. But then Adam came on, and it was ridiculous. Like it was like not even close.
Yeah.
And it was I had never seen him before.
Well, he blew Red out the water on that one.
Yeah.
Cause Red was the defending winner.
I
Red
know.
Red had to go after Adam, and this is like no shade to him, cause he's a beast. Like
Yeah.
Red had a gold series.
Yeah.
Like I'm striving for a gold series. So like Red had a gold. So there's no shade to him. But like when
Yes.
you watch that competition,
Right.
like DJ Adam C came and like melted faces off,
Yes.
and his drummer
Yes.
and the drummer really sold it, cause the drummer is very like animated and pounding it.
Right.
And like them as a duo, like they came and melted faces.
Yeah.
And so like no set you could have done unless you knew Adam was gonna do that. There's
Right.
no set you could have done that was
Right.
gonna match up.
So I'm a drummer. Like I grew up drumming, and so that was actually the first
Mhm.
show that I came out to last year, and that made it for me. That was like, this is something I gotta get more of this.
Mhm.
Where do I go? And I started going more and more and more. And so like I was joking at the last one. I was like, this is my Christmas. It makes me so happy to be able to see 5 or 6 sets,
Mhm.
and they're all playing their absolute best with a drummer.
Yeah.
Like it is.
The coordination is crazy.
It's
Yeah.
absurd. I'm looking forward to this next one.
Yeah. I was in one before. This is like back when it was like more of a show, less
Right.
of a competition.
Right.
And Ron is such a dope drummer. Like,
Yes.
and it's just dope to have another guy named Ron. 2 Rons making it right. But yeah, no, he's a beast. And that night was cool too, because we had, I forget his name, but one of the DJs from Traxploitation did
Yeah.
that one. We also had DJ Spills,
Mhm.
who was a drummer that night,
Okay.
and Gianni, who left Pittsburgh to go to Cali. He goes to school for production,
Yeah.
but that dude, like, that was my first night seeing Gianni, and Gianni, like, changed that night. He changed the way that I DJ'd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
In what way? How?
Because he incorporated. I've always been somebody who incorporates lots of different styles of music,
Yeah.
but some of the stuff he was playing, some, I guess people call it bolo, but like a lot of the like a lot of like the Brazilian like funk and stuff that he was playing that night
Mhm.
was just crazy. And I went home and Googled and listened and did everything. And so a lot if you hear some of the stuff that I'm playing now,
Yeah.
some of the stuff that I played at CMYK, which
Yeah.
was a Red Vision event,
Yeah.
a lot of it was influenced by that night at Drummer vs. DJ.
Gotcha.
Just like learning what he was playing and seeing what I could find
Mhm.
that was similar or better than that.
Yeah. Have you
Yeah.
had anyone come up to you yet and be like, "Hey, like you inspired me," or like I see something that you do different? Like anyone yet that's like,
No
what?
one, no one has really come up to me for
Okay,
that.
you're still young. You're still starting out.
Yeah.
That's right.
But I had an opportunity to talk with kids
Okay.
at a middle school. So we did a career day. There was a
Yes.
career day thrown on by, I believe they're called Extra Mile. And I went to a middle school and talked to kids about DJing.
Mhm.
And the way that they lit up
Yeah.
when they knew that you could do it as a profession.
Yeah.
And I had one of my controllers with me, the DDJ-SX2,
Yeah.
and I had my S9 mixer with me too.
Okay.
And I was just letting them flick the switches and press buttons and stuff.
Yeah.
And they loved it. I mean, they loved it. And the kids were so smart. They're like, "So what kind of music do you play?" I was like, "Well, I play, trap, R&B, but I also know my old school, blah blah blah."
Yeah.
And the one kid looks at me and he tries to get me. He's like, "Do you know Run DMC?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know Run DMC." Is a little like 13-year-old. I'm like, "You know who Jam Master Jay is?" He was like, "No." I was like, "Go home, do your homework, look up Jam Master Jay.
Yeah.
He was Run DMC's DJ." And and like he like really like internalized that, and like
Yeah.
they really took that in.
Yeah.
And I told them you can do things like, I was like, "Do you guys know who Stevie Wonder is?" And they're like, one kid knew who he was, one not so much.
Yeah.
And I was like, "You can mix Stevie Wonder songs with Cardi B if you really want to."
Right.
And they're like, "Wow." And so, like that was the main, like, just telling them about like how you can listen to your old stuff. And then there was one girl who was like, oh, well, I can't remember what song it is, but one of the songs that samples like Tony Tony Tony.
Mhm.
And she was like, the Meek Mill and Chris Brown, whatever you want.
Mhm.
And she's like, "You know that song?" I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "They took that from Tony, Tony, Tony." I was like, "Come on, yeah, yeah, I know that, But like, they were really willing to talk music, and I was like,
Yeah.
"How'd you know that?" She was like, My mom told me. I was
Yeah.
listening to it. My mom told me." And I was like, "If you guys want to be a DJ, listen to them,
Yes.
because you're gonna hear a song,
Right.
and your parents are gonna come up and be like, so and so did that in 1990 or 80 or whatever."
Yeah.
And those are the conversations that's gonna make you a good DJ, because you're gonna have that homework done, and
Mhm.
you're gonna know stuff that the crowd doesn't know.
Right.
You know.
So, what is it going to take for you? And this is a very personal question.
Mhm.
What's it going to take for you to go full time?
To go full time. Wow.
Yeah. Like, is it
Yeah.
just like once you have a certain amount of gigs and like the bank account's full and you're like, all right, I don't need
Yeah.
this job anymore? Or is there something else
There's
that can push you to do it?
there's a couple things that need to happen.
Yeah.
The first thing that needs to happen is I need to have the gigs.
Yeah.
So right now, Stoppers and Bangers, while Stoppers and Bangers is guaranteed through next year, like it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's based on attendance,
Mhm.
and so I need to know that Stoppers and Bangers is in a good place to where I can do that.
Mhm.
I also need to book more weddings, because weddings
Yeah.
are what like pays for things.
Right.
Like weddings are good money. People pay a lot for
But they're long. I mean, what they're paying for is maybe not
It
necessarily long,
depends.
but
Yeah.
it's much more of an event. It's
It's more of a
directly to
production.
them.
Yeah, it's
you're going doing
Yeah.
all the steps, and so like if you can produce a good wedding, like there's a lot of value.
Yeah.
there.
And so I
For
need
sure.
more weddings.
Yeah.
And also I need to take the income that I've earned from DJing
Mhm.
and invest it into something else.
Mhm.
And so while I'm making income from DJing,
Mhm.
I also need to have another stream of income from something else. So I never want to just sit there and be like, I'm just going to DJ
Yeah.
and this is my only stream of income.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
What I want to be able to do is take that money, parlay it into other things
Mhm.
so that I'm able to have those multiple streams and be a little bit more comfortable and less stressed out.
Yeah.
So that's the key right there. Just I'll go full time when I'm financially sound
Right.
enough to do it.
But you're lucky right now. You're not like
I'm not pressed.
you're not pressed, and you got a job where you could work in the daytime, and then you could do your parties
Yeah.
at night, and you can make it work between the two. Like other entrepreneurs may not have that, um, that luxury
Mhm.
where they have it. It's so like they are very split.
Yeah.
Um, so you take that to your advantage.
Yeah. Cuz I mean
Like
that's the grind. Like
yeah,
if I go full time DJing, I'll have insurance.
yeah,
You know, you got to cuz you can purchase it now
right,
independently.
yep,
But right now, I have a full-time job that allows me to contribute to a 401k.
mhm,
I have insurance, and I'm able to purchase vacation days. So in addition
right,
to having the vacation days, I'm able to purchase them. And I use about 50 I use like 50% of those vacation days
yeah,
on
yeah,
DJing related things.
right,
And so I have a job that's flexible enough
yeah,
to allow me to keep working at my craft.
right. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like if you're trying to be an entrepreneur, you're trying to start out, use whatever job you have, and on the flip side of like that night and day thing, like if you have as an entrepreneur, like if you're starting out and you want to do something that requires you to be available in the daytime, find a job you could do at night
Yeah.
and flip that on itself. Like work that to your advantage, make it work for you. If you know it's something you want to do, you have to do it, otherwise it's just going to burn a hole in your soul.
Oh my gosh.
Like you have to do whatever it takes. Like take those steps, take a job that's going to give you that availability,
Mhm.
use it to your advantage, make it work, make it work for you, and like that's definitely
Yeah.
huge key.
Yeah, you take things as they come and you try to make it fit into a puzzle. One
Yeah.
of the biggest things I learned is writing things down.
Yeah.
So, yeah, write everything down. Someone asks me for a meeting, write it down immediately cuz I will forget now because, I'm booking a lot more shows.
Right.
So, it's a good problem to have.
Okay.
So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Where can people find you at? What's your like social media and stuff like that?
My social media best place to find me is Instagram.
Okay.
That is at the Arie Cole. So that's THE
Mhm.
Arie ARIE
Mhm.
underscore Cole
Okay.
COLE. I'm on Facebook. I have the Facebook page.
Mhm.
I believe it should be Facebook/Arie Cole PGH or Facebook/Arie Cole. I'll get you the link.
Okay.
And I have my
If
website
people
too.
type it in on their hat, like what's
Yeah,
on your
yeah,
hat,
yeah. And
on
then
Facebook, it'll come up.
yep, and there's the website too, ariecole.com, which is
Okay.
where I sell my merch too.
Okay.
So you can get merch just off of me. You can hit me up and get it, or I sell the merch online and I'll
Nice.
mail it to you. So
Nice. And if someone wants to book you, send an email. What?
yeah, so my website has an email link,
Okay.
but you can also book me at ariecole.inquiry
Mhm.
at gmail.com.
Okay.
So,
And if people want to listen to what you have right now, like, is there like any? Like,
yeah, I have a SoundCloud. There's
Okay.
about 3 mixes on there right
Okay.
now. Yeah, I'm a little bit cheap right now, so
Yeah.
I'm not paying for the extended hours on
But
SoundCloud
is it
yet.
current? Is it like what you're
Yeah, oh
currently
yeah, I
paying?
just
Okay.
so there's 2 mixes on there that are a little bit older, but
Yeah.
I did a mix for CMYK, that
Mhm.
party,
Yep.
the Red Brand party, or yeah, Red Brand party, um, and that one is like a month old. So yeah, if you guys could go get those listens up on my
Yeah.
SoundCloud, that'd be dope.
Check it out.
Yeah,
There's gonna be a link.
yeah. Well, I'll get you all the links.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
So,
Thanks for doing this, man.
yo, really, thank you, thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love talking about this stuff.
Heck
So,
yeah, we'll have you on again.
cool. Yeah, and then hopefully we can get somebody else on here with me,
Yeah,
so we could just like bounce it.
I'm with it.
All right, dope.
Yeah. Thanks for watching Thoughtful Discussions. This is Josh Snyder. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and comment. And if you could have a question that you ask to the people watching, what would you ask them? And they're gonna leave comments. You could respond or watch them as it happens.
Yeah, my question for you guys would be, what was the most thought provoking part of this? Like,
Of
what
this
did I say?
discussion.
Yeah, what did I
Yeah.
say that might have sparked some interest?
Okay. Awesome. Let's see it.
All right.